Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Today's episode is the 8th in a series where I am taking episodes from season 8 of American Horror Story Apocalypse. This episode is called Sojourn. I've heard some people call this the Lost Sister episode of American Horror Story, which is the episode in season 2 of Stranger Things, which was kind of a how did we lose all this time with this plot development that we didn't really need, where there was so much more that could have been done. I'm not a fan of this episode, and because I'm not a fan of this episode and I wanted to get through this quickly, I am using the Nudestix Soft and Sultry Melissa Alatorre or Alatorre palette. Very easy to use. Sticks on my eyes and sticks on, I used it on my eyes, my cheeks, and my lips. So if you would like to see how I got this look and hear me talk about this episode, which I was not a fan of, please keep watching. So we begin with Michael finding Mead, and she's been burned and is dead. And Cordelia meets him, says that she feels like there's goodness in him, and does he maybe, want to make different decisions and come be with her? And he says no. I mean, he screams no, and he's being melodramatic. And basically Cordelia says that she's done something. She cast a spell on Mead so that he can't bring her back, like he brought back Queenie and Madison and Misty Day. I'm going with, this is a small size of the Tatcha, the silk canvas. I'm enjoying this more because I am kind of combo, drier in the winter, cooler, drier in the winter, oilier in the summer. And this is a nice, I'm really enjoying this now. But I'm glad that I have a small size of it because it's just good to experiment. My skin, different season changes, obviously change my skin and change everybody's skin. So he says he's going to figure out a way to bring her back, and then he'll kill all of them. And I need to review episode 1 and 2. I'm gonna go in with this taupe color just to see exactly who it is that because he thought that all the witches were dead. And the ones that come back in that first episode are Madison and Cordelia and Myrtle, I believe. So I wonder, I'm assuming in the last 2 episodes we'll figure out how he killed the witches and whatever loophole they had to make that really not happen or bring themselves back. Then we have a commercial break and we're back. I'm going to go in with nudity. And he's in the forest and he draws a pentagram around himself and he's pleading to his father to tell him what to do, asking for guidance, give me guidance or let me die here. Then it's 4 days later. I'm gonna go in with Twilight just on the outside. This is super annoying. I'm gonna go in with NYX matte liner on my lid. So it's 4 days later. And this is super annoying because, I mean, I suppose he's the Antichrist and maybe he can get sustenance another way. But the fact that he's basically in the sunlight for 4 days and isn't dead or just about dying of thirst is annoying to me. He's suffering, but he's not dying. And then he starts to see these things which are either visions or hallucinations. And he sees a little boy with a can of grape Fanta, the old grape Fanta. I feel like it even has like a pull top, which looked really familiar to me. I don't know if that's supposed to be him as a young boy or whatever. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean and why, just why. And then there's a little girl with apples, and I'm assuming that's the Garden of Eden, and they're all in white. Maybe they're beckoning him to heaven. Maybe he's dying because of the lack of water, welcoming him into the light. Then he sees Mead and she's saying, why did you let me die? And then he sees Anton LaVey, Anton saying it's all kind of going according to plan. And then Michael starts to strangle Anton, and then Anton becomes an angel, maybe Michael, the archangel, maybe. I'm gonna go in with Beauty Bakery Lollipop liner. Then there's a goat, and he kills the goat, slaughters the goat, and then snakes come out of the goat. And he's screaming, like, what do you want from me? What does all of this mean? Then he has blood on his face. He has blood everywhere because he's just killed this goat. Then he's walking in a city, and he doesn't have blood on his face anymore, but he's wearing the same outfit. And he sees an upside down cross, and he goes into this church of Satan, apparently. And I love Sandra Bernhard as a comedian. I suppose I've seen her in things. I didn't watch a lot of Roseanne, but wow, this character is just I don't know if it's the character that's annoying, just the whole thing is annoying. She's super hyperbolic and super just annoying. I was excited to see that she was going to be in it, but I was not happy with this. And she's going on about what are your sins? Like, I guess the presumption is that all of these people in the Church of Satan are supposed to be doing evil, and when they do the evil's supposed to reach kind of a fever pitch, and that's what ushers in the apocalypse. Which I don't know a lot about the Church of Satan. I grew up in the Bay Area, and so I think when you grow up in the Bay Area, you kind of learn about it because the building was in San Francisco. And what I know of the Church of Satan is that it's very much about the here and now. It's about hedonism. It's about going after what you want. But it's not about evil. It's about doing what you want. It's also not about it's not the opposite of Christianity where you're waiting for like the Antichrist to come that's going to usher in a new age. It's about the here and now. It's not really even about like an afterlife. And they aren't worshiping the devil. They aren't worshiping anything. There's no deity. So I'm very confused about this. It doesn't seem like the Church of Satan that I'm familiar with. Beauty Bakery Cake Mix in W58. And yeah, so she's asking everybody what they did this week to usher in the Antichrist. And he is sitting next to this woman. Her name, we find later, is Madeline, Harriet Sansom Harris. And she takes him home, gives him some food. He's eating. I am still really annoyed. He's eating and she says, "You must have been hungry." I'm just really annoyed that he's not just gulping down the glass of water sitting next to him because he must be really dying of thirst. But whatever. She asks him kind of what his deal is, and he says that his father abandoned him, and his mother tried to kill him. And so his father, Satan, has abandoned him, and his mother, Vivian Harmon, tried to kill him. And then Madeline starts talking about embracing Lucifer. And again, more of these things that seem really not what I think the Church of Satan believes in. ColourPop brow pencil in black and brown. And she's talking about the fact that we're degenerate, rotten beings, which again, not what the Church of Satan believes, and that she sold her soul to the devil and she got all this stuff. And she has a house, and she takes heroin all the time and doesn't get any sweats, and presumably she gets it for free. I don't know what she does for a living, but presumably she has everything that she wants because she sold her soul. And she has a lazy boy, and she has cable with all the premium packages. And then Brad Pitt comes over, I think on Wednesdays, and Ryan Reynolds on Saturdays or something, Fridays. And we are moving towards the beginning of the end. We'll walk with Satan in eternal hellfire. Michael says, "You're waiting in vain." And she gets violent and grabs a knife and is about to kill him. And then he says, no, actually she doesn't come at him until he says, "I'm the one you're waiting for." Then she comes at him with a knife, and then he shows her his birthmark, and then she starts genuflecting and hailing Satan. Then we're back at the church, and the choir is singing O Fortuna, which was the same song that was playing, not with a choir, but the actual recording of it, was playing when the Church of Satan sacrifice happened in Return to Murder House when they were doing the sacrifice. I'm realizing I haven't even done my concealer. I'm so off, I've just kind of skipped it. I can see that I need it, but I'm just very off, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so it's the same song that was playing when they had the Black Mass and He Ate the Heart. And Sandra Bernhard is announcing that they're going to do a sacrifice of a woman who is a social worker and a man who is affiliated with Doctors Without Borders, because you're supposed to be, number one, you're supposed to be making sacrifices, I guess, human sacrifices. And number two, I guess you're supposed to make human sacrifices of people who do good things. And the congregant who has been tapped to do this, the honor of doing this, is a guy named Phil, who says he was the chief accountant at Gawker. There's a whole thing about that. I'll put a link in the description box down below if you're unaware of what happened with Gawker. And then his girlfriend left him, and everything was terrible until he saw the darkness. And then Michael comes in with Madeline, and he's revealed, and he does the sacrifice. He's revealed to be the Antichrist. Commercial break. Next segment, we are at a potluck. The potluck at the Church of Satan, which again, I don't think is the Church of Satan. Catrice liquid camouflage in 010 porcelain. When he likes a particular dish, I think it's Sandra Bernhard, it might be Madeline, but somebody says, thank the Dark Lord. Like, thank God, or I don't know. It's just, they are talking about, actually Madeline is talking about what comes next, and he says he doesn't know, that he doesn't have an instruction manual, and that the one person who he could really count on is gone. And she starts looking Mead up on the phone, and then he says she's dead, and then Madeline says that's something that we can work with. And then there are people that you need to see. They're in a car driving up the Pacific Coast Highway, Laura Mercier's secret brightening powder, and they arrive, and she basically says that while they're on the road up, that if the Church of Satan is, or it's just hard for me to say the Church of Satan, but if this organization, if these people are a hotel, she's taking him to the penthouse, and that all of these people are connected and communicating with each other. Interestingly, this is called Purity. I'm gonna go in with Purity on my cheeks, and I'm gonna blend it in. I should just leave it like this, right? So they get there, and she says, asked him to put in a good word with his dad. And again, basically, she's saying that she wants to go to the worst place possible in the afterworld, which again, the Church of Satan, I think does not believe in an afterlife. I think that they believe that kind of this is it, this life on earth in this lifetime. Then we have another commercial break. I'm afraid to do this contouring while I'm talking about this because it's so annoying. So this is Kevin Aquan, the sculpting powder and light, and a giant fan brush, which hopefully will calm me down a little bit. So we see Mutt and Jeff, and they're doing a lot of cocaine, and I don't think that they call each other that, or I don't think anyone calls them that, but that's how I'm seeing them credited when I look them up. And they're doing a lot of cocaine, and they work at a robotics company, like they're the programmers. And there's a hand that they've programmed for manual stimulation, and it goes crazy, and oh my gosh. So then they call a woman who we shortly find out is Venable, and they're calling her babe, and they're asking for more cocaine. So presumably, yeah, they can do as much cocaine as they want to and not die, as Madeline can do as much heroin as she wants to and not die. I'm gonna do my nose. So we see Venable, and she is wearing purple, and then this woman comes in. Presumably she works at the company, and she has the cocaine, Bahama Mama. Venable is a jerk to her, and this woman says, you can't treat people like this, I'm gonna call HR. And Venable says, I am HR. Then she goes in to see Mutt and Jeff and gives them the cocaine, and there's a girl under the desk orally stimulating Billy Eichner, apparently, Mutt or Jeff, and he pulls away like he forgot that was happening. She talks about a box of dog poop that was sent successfully on the way to Mark Zuckerberg, and Rihanna is free for the weekend. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. She says that there's a gentleman here to see them. I don't think that so now let's get just down to brass tacks. I don't think that she saw him. This is Michael, and she's reporting that there's a man here to see you. So it's important that she hasn't seen Michael, because she doesn't recognize him or remember anything in episode 1 or 2 whenever he shows up. I think he shows up in episode 1. So that's important to know. And she says, don't call me babe, because they've been calling her babe on the phone. She goes away, Michael arrives, and they're just being really annoying kind of programmer kind of guys with their ridiculous haircuts. And it was a little bit hard to watch. It was more than a little bit hard to watch. And they say, how do we know? How do we know that Madeline has vouched for you, but how do we know? And he shows them his birthmark, and they say anyone can do that, that's just a tattoo. And the girl, who had been under the table with Billy Eichner before, says that she can tell how evil he is. And then he burns her up. I guess is kind of making her soul disappear or go to hell or whatever. Then they're probably outside at the campus having lunch, like a sushi lunch served to them. And they're explaining that there are all these people in power, in technology and in politics and all over the place, who are in the position that they're in, and this is including Mutt and Jeff, because they sold their soul to the devil. And the funniest part of the entire episode, I think, was that they say, Mutt or Jeff, the Evan Peters character, says that they have all this and that they're able to kind of work quickly and work smartly, and the cocaine and all of that stuff and all the power and all the money, and that they sleep with Victoria's Secret models every Tuesday, and then on Thursdays they get Ryan Reynolds. That, I think, is the funniest part of the entire show. Funniest and just cleverest and most well written, that's the high point of the show for me. The one high point of the show for me. And Michael explains that he needs Mead and to be put back together again, and they say it's no problem, and they want to do more than just than just provide mead for them. And they decide, Beauty Bakery flour powder, they decide that they're going to take all of the attributes that Michael has explained, and they're also going to make her having been Mossad. So if you think about the memories that Mead has when she talks about being Mossad, and she's that whole, all the different Halloweens. I'm gonna do my lips with Royal. I'll speed you through this. And then we're in the last scene. Mutt and Jeff present Mead to Michael, say that he can't explain to her that she's a robot, that it might freak her out, and that it'll take time for her to kind of become who she is, and he'll have to teach her, and yada, yada, yada. And then she says, after she's kind of sat up, "How I've missed you, Michael." And that's it. I'm grateful that it was a short episode. It might be the shortest of the season, maybe ever. I feel like it was shorter than 40 minutes. It was the Halloween episode. It actually occurred on Halloween. And we know from Murder House that Halloween is supposed to be the night, like the one night that dead souls can walk among the living, and like that the people can leave Murder House and all that stuff. So I'm incredibly disappointed that they didn't take advantage of that. This does seem to be, aside from that one episode and the fact that Michael's here, aside from Return to Murder House, it does seem to be kind of a Coven season with this new apocalypse thing. I wanted more. I wanted more Murder House, and I wanted just more. So yeah, there are 2 more episodes. I really hope that they pull it together, because we need a lot more resolution. We need to know how this organization got together, the cooperative or the corporation, the one that put together the nuclear apocalypse fallout shelters. We need to learn about the witches and the warlocks that are gone now, and how that's going to happen, and how the apocalypse happens, and if it's really an apocalypse, and so many unanswered questions. So I am really looking forward to the last 2 episodes, but I need to keep my expectations in check, because I don't want to be too disappointed. Let me know what you think. I'm not sure how many of you out there are actually watching this. If you are, please let me know what you think, because I have a lot of opinions and they're not necessarily good. So maybe this is just a one-off. Maybe this is just the Lost Sister episode. Fingers crossed that that's true. Thank you so much for watching. A lot to do in the world, a lot to do on YouTube, and it means a lot that you took some time to spend with me today. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.